Hi, this is Bishop Doherty. This talk has to do with church structure, and particularly some questions that arise out of our wondering about uniting in heart. What about these terms, diocese, parish, pastorate, dean, deanery? And these are all very typical terms for us, and we do have our own vocabulary in the church, just as you would find that dentists or truck drivers or whatever, they're all going to have their own vocabulary for the things that they do. So for us, our vocabulary means something. And so the parish is a unit of governance within a diocese. At this point, our parishes are independent and they each have their own finance council. Due to our new structures, we're having a thing called pastorates. These do not merge or obliterate the parishes. The parishes are still standing. But what the pastorate is a different unit that we use for planning and consulting and establishing not only clergy as leadership, but lay people. In planning for the future, really, it's very important. It's a great tool to communicate back and forth what our needs and desires are and what our challenges are. A deanery is a slightly larger piece of it's a number of parishes put together, let's put it that way. And it could be 5 or 15 or 20 parishes. And each deanery is set up to facilitate having meetings. People like to meet in their own regions. The person who the bishop places in charge of the deanery is called the dean. He doesn't govern the individual parishes, but he's a bridge between the bishop and the pastors. And he's supposed to know generally what the welfare of the parishes are in his deanery. And he's supposed to keep an eye on the health and welfare of the priests. Sometimes in the history of the church, people kind of get lost, and we want to be sure that the dean is a unifying force for the governance of the church. And governance applies to all kinds of things about administration of sacraments and what we teach and what resources we can share. These structures are set up for a couple of good reasons. One, to encourage participation. The church wants people to participate in their church, in its mission, not only internally in terms of worship, but in terms of going out on mission for the salvation of souls, to preach the gospel, to live the gospel. The second thing about these divisions of church governance is that it is a tool, these are tools for accountability. I know some people don't think that exists, but I'd say my office has to be the most accountable. We're audited, surveyed, checked on all the time, and so and it has to do with how the general diocese is being administered, not just financial things. So those are structures that we have for the health of souls, to encourage participation, but also so that we can be accountable to each other. And if we know the names of these various structures, we very often then know who to give a suggestion to or who to ask a question of. And the parish level is key. So very often when people call my office with a question that they could have asked any one of the priests in their town, we very often turn it back to them, because this office does not like going around the priests and pastors or going behind their back with various things. So these structures are there so that the local church in the parishes can be very healthy. Thank you.